What's going on, y'all? It is Carl doing a 360 video for full self-driving in the rain. I am currently in Kyle, Texas, just south of Austin. I am parked outside of a Jersey Mike's where I decided to kind of duck out of the rain real quick, but I can't wait forever. It's probably been going for about 30 minutes. I ate my food. Pearl needs to... If you can see my cat, of course you can. It's a 360 video. I'm gonna go ahead and let Pearl know she's safe, and I'm gonna drive in this. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how FSD does in this weather. We're taking a bit of an unconventional way into Austin because 35 is so backed up, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and get moving now. Of course, I am on hardware 3, version 12.6.4 as of Father's Day 2025. So this storm is nothing to joke around with. So I'm going to be right on top of it. I'm not even going to listen to music because I don't want to get a copyright strike for when this makes its way to YouTube. But for now, I am just going to go ahead and... at least set the FSD up for success, since this is not a situation where I want to mess around with it. It is telling me to, I want to make sure. Oh, so I lost connection already. It wants to go I-35 without going that sort of unique way that it was planning. And in a weird way, I-35 would be easier, but I-35 is also going to have the most traffic and crazy drivers. So let's see what happens. There's also a Tesla charging station here, so there's a Tesla right there. Almost makes more sense to go ahead and hit the highway for just a few minute difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and let FSD work. Our first tough situation right here is having to get over to a turning lane without much time, really. I don't know why it just abruptly stopped right there. I'm going to be right on top of this thing. I think this guy's going to let me in, potentially. Yep, he gave me the high beams. I had to take over right there. I was not going to let the car do that. Big thing about Tesla full self-driving is to know when you should just take over. I have a general rule that I do not want the car to get into an accident. I am going to be the one who is driving. It's more out of instinct that I don't do this. In fact, I can hardly see. Car might be better at this, so I'm just going to go ahead and reactivate now that I made that tough turn and got into the turning lane for the car. This isn't really for science or anything like that, and that was a really tight turn, but actually ended up being right in terms of how it ended up in the lane, so that's interesting. As you can see, it is coming down just fine. I'm in hurry mode. I might just go into standard just to not have it ever make any harsh moves. I'd almost want to just put it in chill, but I feel like standard's a good compromise right here. I'm going to have my hand on the wheel the entire time. It's rendering everything just fine. It sees all of the cars in the lanes well. On the previous version, this is the first version that I've had that didn't have a caution sound, although I have noticed for inclement weather a caution sound. However, I have noticed that the speed will be adjusted to where the max is. Well, it seems like right now I could go up to 77 on full self-driving's max. Sometimes it doesn't allow that. Let's see how it does here as we get onto the highway. check real quick. Yeah, at this point, just got to take the highway. Merging on, and it is heavy waters, which makes me glad that I didn't take the back roads that it was suggesting, because those might be a bit more susceptible to floods here, as Austin is kind of in the Texas hill country. This guy just has his caution lights on as a truck in the middle lane. And FSD isn't doing too bad. I personally would probably want to go a little bit faster than 49 on the highway, but considering how wet it is right now, 45 seems to be fine. And to be honest with you, this is a lot less stressful than if I were having to drive myself. The car's doing a great job. It understands the situation. And I am capped at 75 miles an hour due to poor road conditions detected. So good on FSD not to just have people go 85 on here, and it's only capped at 75 for like a maximum if it needs to accelerate up to that. Hopefully it doesn't for any particular reason. There are a ton of caution lights on the road right now. People just trying to make sure that they're seen. It's pouring down rain, and yeah, I kind of almost want to find another place to crash. Not crash, that's not a good term. To wait this out. But science, content, FSD. This is a 360 video, just trying to see what all we can gather here. Like, the car really is adjusting for poor weather here in standard at the right lane, going 13 miles an hour. Usually it'll bounce in the middle lane, but it's being very cautious. And I'm good with that. This is Austin, Texas, where the first robo-taxis are going to be put out into the world, and these are real world experiences that you're going to see these cars have to deal with. And I appreciate that they're dealing with it with caution. I'm starting to see the storm clear up a little bit, but this is obviously, this car even over here is just starting to veer off. I don't think you can see that. You can kind of see it on the rendering of the screen, but yeah, just a very safe manner that the car is handling a not quite flooded highway, but there's certainly a solid puddle that's coating the road. And since the car is driving, I'm not going to be a backseat driver. Pearl is just happy that we're moving again. I think she wants to get to a litter box. Buc-ee's doesn't have litter box for cats, unfortunately. Now this is interesting. People are having the merge up here. This isn't the typical experience of driving on standards profile, but it is getting the job done. I'm okay with it being cautious. If I were a human sitting here without the ability to take over at any time, this would be good. I'm even going to lower this a little bit, so just use the adjustment. There you go. Now you can see a lot more of the road. That was really nicely done by the car. It was about to take advantage of an open lane. That guy decided not to get off the highway like he was indicating, and the car was about to accelerate past him, and it gave just enough room for air for that car to decide that it wasn't going to exit the highway, and it braked. So that's really solid right there. Wonder how much this is going to be rain sounds versus my voice. I'm trying to talk it towards the camera. But I see slivers of sunlight, so we're almost out of this. And once it stops raining, Texans are going to act like it never rained in the first place. Overall, really solid job by the car. I know some of y'all were probably hoping that I would have let the car gotten onto the highway out of the parking lot on its own accord, and I trusted it, but that guy who was letting us in, and I didn't want the car to do anything weird and maybe keep that guy who's being courteous to us from maybe missing the light. I didn't see the situation entirely when I decided to take over. I just knew that the car was going to be abundantly cautious since it couldn't necessarily see what was coming up in that lane, and I just decided that would be the time for me to take over, just to be a bit more assertive and decisive. The car can be assertive and decisive very often, but that's a scenario where it would have inched out a little bit more than I would have, more slowly than I would have. But other than that, look at this. The rain should be stopping momentarily. We can see blue skies over there. Overall, great job by the car. Let's see if it still detects poor weather. Yeah, so now it's capped at 65. Earlier it was capped at 75. And that's fine. I think that is appropriate for the situation. The car itself, I don't think it's gotten above 50 since I've gotten on the highway. And now it wants to get on over to the middle lane for the first time since getting on the highway as well. Gotta give Pearl some pets. It's staying in the middle lane pretty well. It's rendering it perfectly, from what I can tell. I'm halfway tempted to put it in hurry so it'll go into the left-hand lane and pass everybody, but like I said, I don't want the car to do anything that might throw other people off, and I'm not in a hurry. And overall, the car's doing great. So now we're finally getting past the storm, and we're going to be in a wet road in Austin, going through a lot of traffic that was there before the storm. So I'm gonna stop recording because we got through the storm pretty well, and the camera just gave me an overheating signal, and we seem to be good. So I'm gonna stop it from overheating and say bravo, Rowdy. That was a really good job.